Okay, good. Okay, we'll now call the Prescott Police Services Board meeting to order. The time is 8:33. We'll proceed with the approval of the agenda. Everybody's had a chance to have a look at it. That the agenda for the Police Services Board meeting of October 20th, 2022 be accepted as presented. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Brett, thank you. All in favor? Motion carried. Declaration of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? I don't see anybody other than ourselves here today. Presentations. No presentations, and there's no delegations. Okay. I guess it's been since June 29th that we had our last meeting, so item 6 is the motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting held on June 26, 2022. That the Police Services Board minutes, June 29th, 2022 be accepted as presented. Have a mover and a seconder. Mr. Lajway and Mayor Todd, all in favor? Motion's carried. Communications and petitions. Under item 7.1, there are no action items. Information item 7.2 under item 7.2a, there's a letter to the Police Services Board, Let's Remember Adam campaign. Staff will provide the board with a verbal update. Matthew, do you have that or?
Sure. So in front of you this evening or this morning is the Police Services Board notice from East Ferris, and it's in relation to remembering Adam, and that deals with bus safety in particular. And you will now notice that buses have yellow and red lights on them, as well as a number of other safety features have been included in that. And they're also moving, asking that infraction cameras, extended stop sign alarms or arms and the exterior cameras also be considered to help support bus safety.
I think we had a request last time concerning this, did we not? They wanted a sign put up or something with his Head and Shoulders, or was that another one that I'm confusing it with?
I can't quite remember that one, but this in particular really just speaks to further enhancing bus safety and asking the province to really start to look at mandating those types of things.
Okay. Anything further on that? Under item 7.2b, there's an OPP form for the notification of safety issue. Nancy Graves will provide the board with a verbal update.
Okay, I just included this to present to the board. So in the springtime, our MCER team developed a notification of safety issue that's used to notify bylaw or local fire services of any issues that officers may have noticed when attending a call for service. So this was done in consultation with all of the area bylaws under building managers. And the form was created to sort of start a paper trail so that when all officers attended, all parties have a better sense of to keep track of notifications and to reduce any discrepancies of information. So the form includes sort of all pertinent information that can be released to each agency without violating someone's right to privacy. So I just wanted to include this just as an awareness piece of this notification safety developed form.
Okay.
If there are any questions?
Yeah, if it involved the town, I guess we would get a copy of that, would we?
Yeah, so I think perhaps bylaw can speak
Okay.
to that.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sean?
so this situation's used when, like I said, the police are on site for another reason and they notice something that they think we should be informed of. We did this in consultation with, pretty sure Constable Holmes
Yes.
Was the spearhead on this.
Okay.
And it was just because him and me got talking about different times when we need to contact the police, how we go about doing it. And then he also said, well, when it goes back the other way, how do we do it? So he created this form so that the people on the road, because they don't always know who to reach out to, right? Because, you know, constables change and stuff like this. So this form is in there and it just simply comes to us. And then we address it later. And that it's really went a long, long way to cooperation between both departments to make sure that we're all aware of what's going on in the area, whether it's fire or bylaw or anything else.
Down on telephone chasing, I guess.
It does. It really does. And like I said, because constables keep changing, they don't always know who to reach out to. And even us, we change sometimes, right? And so this form's set up with all the stuff buried in it, so it just automatically goes. You don't have to worry that you don't know the person. So
Okay. So that's in place now, is it?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, lines of communication are everything, so that's good to know. Under item 7.2C, the Royal Canadian Legion's annual poppy campaign for discussion. I believe we normally purchase a wreath, I think it is, each year for the, any discussion on that?
We should do the same.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we purchase the usual wreath. I think it's the $130 one.
yeah, there's a standard one, I think, that we made it an annual thing we do, I believe. Okay, have a seconder in that, please? Moved by Mayor Todd. I guess I'd look for you, Jeffrey, for a seconder. That the Police Services Board approved the purchase of a Remembrance Day wreath for the local Royal Canadian Legion Branch 97 at a cost of $130. All in favor? And to summarize the items under 7.2, we have a recommendation that the information items be accepted as presented. Jeffrey? Seconder, please. Thank you. Moved by Mr. Lodgeway, second by Mayor Todd, that the information items be accepted as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Under reports, item 8.1 is a staff report. It's the CKW inquest verdict by I believe Mr. Armstrong has some information on that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So in September of 2015, 3 women were murdered by the same individual, and this occurred in the Ottawa Valley. This person was an intimate partner of all those 3 individuals, and all of those relationships had abusive behavior. The person has been subsequently sentenced to life in prison without the eligibility of parole for 70 years. There was a coroner's inquest that was struck to really review the situation and how things could be put in place to change that outcome in the future when it comes to intimate partner violence. And so the inquest and the result of it, there was 86 individual recommendations that are in the package this morning. The vast majority are to the Ontario government, the chief firearms officer, the chief coroner's office, information and privacy commissioner, the government of Canada, as well as parties to the inquest itself. We did have a resident reach out and ask the town look into this, and so we brought it forward to PSB, and I think perhaps the OPP can speak a little bit about what happens in particular in domestic violence situations of currently what the protocol is. But certainly we look to our senior forms of government to look to implement some of these, and that will probably have a knock-on effect in terms of how we deal with those at a local level.
Thank you. Nancy, do you care to comment on that at all? Do you look it over? Or?
I'm just flipping through it now. I don't see any particular recommendations to direct it to the OPP, but certainly
Copious amount of paperwork has come out.
yes, yes. Certainly, from my perspective, our officers we're very well versed in domestic violence protocol. We have mandatory training in which officers must take to get a better sense of their investigative techniques. Certainly, we have a critical policy regarding domestic violence, and where there are reasonable grounds to that we believe that an offense has been committed, we have the expectation that we shall lay charges. So gone are the days when officers would get to a scene and just separate parties. We have very clear critical policy that addresses if we have the grounds to believe that an offense has been committed by one party or another, that we effect an arrest and certainly look at the criteria whether we hold them for a bail or not. But certainly, I think we've come a far way over the years and dealing with domestic violence.
Yeah, so I guess gone are the days when you do the on-scene pacification and treat that as having dealt with it.
Exactly.
There's a lot more, obviously a lot more to it. This was an extreme case, but nevertheless, it brought the whole thing to
For sure.
forefront. And
very tragic.
it made everybody a little more aware that if this could happen tomorrow in your neighborhood type thing,
Yes.
if you didn't follow
And we do have our policy. We have to have the domestic violence report completed by the end of the shift so that there's no gap in time for somebody to be reviewing that information. It's very critical, the time that we have to have that information available for officers in case it carried on to a following day or whatnot. So we're very well versed in making sure that information is captured, documented, and available for other people to read should they need to.
And this was the problem in the Bortuski case, is that every time there was a dealing with this individual, it sort of lost trails to a certain amount, and that complicated things when it came to the big day in 2015 when he went on the rampage. And yeah, it's one of those things where you can't keep a handle on it.
It's hard to predict, but certainly we do take a serious stance on it being a critical policy. We have a lot of officers that are trained in domestic violence incidents, as well as the supervisors. They have to have the knowledge, skills, and abilities to approve these reports. So certainly that's an important part of our role as supervisors, is to make sure that all of those pieces are covered off when responding to domestics. So we watch them with a very close eye.
More than one or two sets of eyes get.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's good. Any other discussion? Okay. 8.2, Police Services Report, June to August 22. Report under 8.2 is Police Services Report for the months of June to August. And Sergeant Nancy Graves will provide us with an update.
Did you want to skip forward to the September report so that way we can kind of encapsulate?
Okay, I guess, yeah.
We'll include all of the up-to-date information.
Okay. So I guess a motion before the floor would be that we support the report as submitted to us. We're on that. Mr. Lodgeway, seconder, please. Mayor Todd. In favor? Thank you. So 8.2 police services report, Nancy, please.
Take it away. Okay, so we will first look to our violent crimes in regards to our risk management system. And this will encompass all of the information, including to the end of September. So as we look through our numbers here, in the month of September, we had 1 sexual assault versus 3 the previous year. We had 4 domestic or 4 assaults it was the same number that we had in 2021. And then we had 3 crimes against person, 1 up from September of last year. As we look at the percentage changes on the right-hand side, we see that we had a reduction in sexual assaults year to date from 12 to 10 and having a 16.7% reduction. Assaults, we were up overall from 20 to 23 with 15% uptake for that. And our other crimes against persons, we've gone from 22 to 20 with a negative 9.1% decrease. Our total decrease lands up with a decrease of minus 1.8%. Under the property crime category, we looked that we had 1 break and enter in the month of September, and that was 1 down from the previous year. Theft over, we had 0. Theft unders, we went from 7 to 3. And we had 2 fraud occurrences and 4 mischiefs. If we look to the right-hand side to see the change from year to date, we see that we have a reduction in break and enters to 62.5% negative. And we have a negative 85.7% reduction from 7 to 1 in the theft over categories, and a 24.3 reduction from theft unders from 37 to 28. The only increase that I see here is frauds, and that jumps from 18 to 31% or to 31, which is a 72.2% increase. And our total, our mischiefs as well went down to minus 37.5%. So our mischiefs went from 32 to 20. Our overall total year-to-date property crime has been reduced by 17.5%. And I'll just speak briefly about the fraud numbers. I know this is sort of it's a situation that we see continuously on the rise. And I just wanted to brief the board that we started a pilot project in Grenville County October 1st. We have a member of 3, a 3-person team that is looking at all of the fraud calls that come in, sort of through the lens of to see what can be done, if there are any linkages that can be made in regards to the frauds and assisting victims of crime. We have 3 officers that are not doing frontline duties presently, but they are supporting frontline. So this unit is, we have 3 of them, 2 out of our office and 1 from East Region headquarters. So the 3 of them have started working together, and with the idea in mind that they're going to be reviewing the fraud investigations just with a closer eye, as opposed to the frontline officer who might be tasked with, completing their investigation quickly, moving on to the next call. They can take a little bit more time looking to see if there's any linkages and any support that they can provide victims of crime. So it's at the infancy stage right now, bearing in mind it just started on October 1st. So as we evolve in this project, we'll get an update and a better idea of the success and some of the information that hopefully will be gleaned from the pilot project, and we'll keep the board apprised of that.
My apologies, but I have to leave the meeting now. Sorry, I can't stay any longer, as I mentioned in the beginning. I don't know if we're gonna be able to reschedule this, but I just wanted to leave saying this is quite possibly quite likely my last PSB meeting after 12 years. I just wanted to thank Nancy and everybody with the OPP for all the support. It's been incredibly appreciated over all these years, and I'll send something along as well as a quick email, but I did want to note that in public. I cannot thank the OPP enough for the support from day one. It's been tremendous whenever we've needed anything in the town, and whenever I've called and asked, the support has been there. So tremendous partnership. And I really want to thank Nancy, Josh, going before that, Paul Bedard, and Bill Bolton as well. Just a great group. And I can't thank you enough. But I do apologize because you're going to lose quorum here, but I have no options. I do have to get on this other call in the next minute or so. So apologies for leaving, but is there anything very last second we need to do a motion to wrap this one up, or is there anything? Because otherwise I really have to leave. I'm late now.
If it's possible to accept this report, then we can wrap the meeting up at that point.
Okay,
I can make that motion.
okay. And seconded by Jeff. All in favor? Okay. Thank you, your worship. Yeah, I think we can wing it from here maybe.
Apologies, everyone. I've got to run. I was hoping Stan could make it today, so we didn't have this issue. But take care, and Nancy, I'll send you a quick note as well. Thanks for everything.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye, folks.
So at this point, because we don't have quorum, then we should adjourn the meeting.
We should adjourn?
Yes.
Oh,
Can we pick this up and finish this portion off at the next meeting?
Yep, absolutely.
oh. All right.
Well, you get to go to your
I
plan.
was just going to make one comment about the fraud investigations. I know that 3/4 or 80% of a fraud investigation is the follow-up and then assigning these officers to that will go a long way.
I think
towards-
so. Yeah, we're excited to see what the results
Yeah.
be.
We always called it a paper chase.
Yes, and they're very time consuming.
So I guess a motion to adjourn.
Even do that?
I think it automatically adjourns.
I don't think.
If the chair could just officially note it adjourned.
Okay. So due to a lack of quorum, we will ask for a motion for adjournment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, the one time I get long-winded in a report.
I know we're working, but that fraud, is that online or businesses or?
Any fraud. They'll just kind of do a review of the frauds that are coming in and then just sort of like review each one to see what they can do differently, if there's more support that they can provide, if there's any sort of linkages that they can make, sort of. They have the mindset, people that have sort of the knowledge, skills and abilities to understand frauds have a sort of a different perspective than people, and sort of like you have to have a real keen interest in it. And these people are officers, they really do. So all that to say, they do, they have a great, maybe perhaps a greater understanding, greater level of intelligence in terms of the information that they've learned over courses. So they've got a good mindset to go into it and looking.
We used to call them the hounds. They don't give up.
Yes.
Until they've
That's right.
reached
Yes.
their goal. Frauds are like 5% on the spot and 95%